you need to play Dungeons and Dragons?
Well, basically all you really need is paper, some dice, pencils, and books. And even then, the basic books, you can find them online for free, actually. And it's not pirated or anything, it's officially published. So you really, the only thing you need to do is print some character sheets, get some pencils and dice, and that's about it.
Alright. So, can you tell me the basics of D&D? Like, if I want to start out right now, what should I know?
So the basic flow of the game is that there's players and Dungeon Master. Dungeon Master, basically, the players play their characters, obviously, but the Dungeon Master, it's basically his job to facilitate both the storytelling as well as other characters who interact with the players, whether they be villains, allies, just random townsfolk.
Like NPCs?
Yeah, NPCs basically. And so the basic flow of the game is that the Dungeon Master describes the scene, the player tells them what they want to do, and then based on what they want to do, the Dungeon Master will will have them roll for it if it's like something difficult, like trying to climb a cliff or something, or if it's just something simple, like pouring a glass of water, then you don't need to roll for that. But basically, and then the results of your roll will determine what happens. So if you were to roll high to climb a cliff, then yeah, you shoot up there. You're like a professional rock climber. If you roll low, then you probably fall on your butt after a couple of tries.
So what it has to do is how much?
A lot of it is, it's somewhat luck based at times, but the luck factor, it's not like gambling per se, because it's alleviated by certain modifiers. There's like a set of skills, and then based on how you distribute your points into your stats into those skills, then some character will be better at some things than others.
Okay. Anything you want to add? Like, there's anything you want to add, say, about D&D,
Just in general, I personally think it's a fantastic game, and one of my favorite parts is that there's the potential for it is almost limitless, because you're not just limited to what you have in the books. There's a concept called homebrew that's been around for a while, and it's basically the idea of creating. It's a game that you can create your own content for. It doesn't need verification. You create it, and then it's played kind of as you go along. And so and while it's very free reign, there's a given set of rules that governs everything. But generally speaking, there are some that you can kind of like ignore, that you can skip over. Like, for example, my group, we don't use rules for carrying weight, because for like carrying around weight and stuff, like carrying equipment and supplies, because my group isn't traveling around very often in the world. They're kind of a lot of my game story is kind of situated in one big city, and so that's where most of the action takes place. For example, now other groups might want to use weight rules if they're like traveling across the land, if their group is more mercenary light, for example. And so there's a lot of different campaigns, like possibilities. You can run political, you can run regular combat, you can run horror. There's so many different things you can do with the game, and it's just it's very expansive.
All right.
I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
So what would you say are the qualities that Dungeons and Dragons would give a student if they come into that club? What aspects do you think can help them? Because I think it's very important that they know that there are benefits to being in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
What do you think has made you feel like Dungeons and Dragons has helped you in any way?
One of the major things, I have a friend, Pedro Jose, who he's not the most confident person, but like it's something I've seen improvement with. Is it's kind of helped with his public speaking in general, just because it kind of while on one hand Dungeons & Dragons lets you play a different person, something I've noticed with when people create their characters is that the character they create often reflects an aspect or like a personality trait of themselves that they either really like, or a part of themselves that they really want to improve on. So in a way, they kind of create this idealized version of them that they then live out in the game, and I've seen it kind of helps people with their self-confidence a little bit. In my opinion, the best way to describe the game is it can be best described as collaborative storytelling, because while the Dungeon Master can set the scene, it's up to the players to really kind of fill in how everything plays out. There's always a little element of unexpected to D&D, and it really helps contribute to how everything plays out.
That's excellent.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much.
Omar, for the other side.
I think the game gives students a really excellent chance to just use their imaginations and engage with each other in a way that's is productive and not what you would think of it as a traditional learning experience. But at the core of it, it's just a really fun game with really interesting mechanics that take really, really intelligent thought processes to engage in.